Alright, so here today, after a good amount of time, I finally think it's time to update the must-have tier list, right? Between B1, B2, B3, we're going to update the entire list here. Myself, my own tier list, again. Yes, I covered the Prime 1 tier list and the GG tier list, but today I thought I'd make my own, as always. This is an updated video from, I think, the last Annie or New Year's, around there. So today, let's go through it. No, I'm not putting Isabel to must-have. She is not a must-have, though I obtained so many of her. No, we're we are not talking about that character. It's still in my comment section. It's never going to leave me alone. That and oil will now stick to this channel. It's an issue. It's problematic. Let's move into it. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. Let's hop over there. So we'll start off with this. This is literally the exact tier list I made last time. I went and I found it, actually. I left this thing kind of left here, basically, in the aspect of when I come back, I'll talk about it then instead of recreating it every time. The reason I like to recreate it is just to go through everything properly, but I recreated it I have it here exactly as it was before. No changes, no nothing. This is what the tier list was last time, correct? And overall, a lot of people did agree with this tier list. They said it was a pretty good tier list. There was a few things people wanted to change, so today I am now here to kind of change those things, right? So as time has progressed, it's been now 4 more months into the game, we kind of understand a quick little kind of thing about this game, right? The simplest thing is, with content, you get one team and you're good to go. That's it. Correct? That team will carry you through everything. When it comes to solo raid, you need 5 carry teams, and then that's a different thing. But other than solo raid, if you're not actually taking solo raid seriously, this game requires one team, and that's it. There's no content really in this game that requires more than one team. Campaign's a pushing team, and that's it. Most interceptions, one team, and you're done. That's kind of how this game's become, right? That's where it is. The only content that really requires you to actually put effort and brain cells in is solo raid, requiring you to build a different comp every time and follow each of the gimmicks that the comp has in order to win. So again, keep that in mind. So this video basically will have to give you multiple must-haves because not everyone has a character, right? So for example, the flack that I always get in these videos and the issues that I always kind of get from my comments is saying, oh, you're just calling every B3 a must-have. No, genius. I gotta put multiple B3s in there because, again, remember, if a player doesn't have Modernia, because it's not easy to obtain, a player doesn't have Reddit, it's a Pilgrim. A player doesn't have Scarlet, a Pilgrim. Remember how many Pilgrims are in this list already. Now, a player doesn't have those, they're gonna look for the next best thing. That being Alice, that being Anise, that being maybe Noir, that being maybe Maxwell, right? Remember, that's why I put multiple characters in these slots, because, again, remember, first off, you need 5 teams. So you need 5 separate teams. You need 25 characters from this list over here to generate into solo raid. That's the first thing. Beyond that, you then need to, get alternatives. So again, that's always why I have multiple characters in each slot. Yes, people are like, the only must-have B1 is just Dorothy and Litter. I get it. Right now that Tia exists, they'll include her too, but it's, again, if you have other options, it's always good for the, again, free-to-plays and everybody that watches this video, where they're like, oh, I have options. It's not just, you know, litter or bust. You know what I mean? So that's why this video will have that, okay? Moving forward, let's go through each character. Litter, why is she a must-have? She is the greatest B1 till today. The granny still kicks, and let me tell you now, she is absolutely goated in literally every aspect of the game. Till today, yes, Crown, you know, has popped up. People are like, oh, new best character of the game. Again, till today, Litter remains to be an absolute carry for B1. Cover, heals, everything. She provides so much to the team, so much support, so much everything. Till today, B1 must-have. Dorothy, still a must-have, provides so much damage, works in so much boss content. In Solar Raid, she's still used constantly, still, again, for any bosses, anything, story content, anything, still a great B1 to have, and always a welcome character for that. You want heals? That's Rapunzel's kind of job, right? 40-second cooldown, a little bit more sucky on that front, because, again, it's a little, you know, hard to build a team off her. You need to go and swap somebody in for B1 also, but again, she's a very powerful character, and again, with the release, actually, of Crown, you actually improve so much with Rapunzel because of that, right? Rapunzel becomes a just much better character because the existence of Crown. You want a healer, right? And, you know, Rapunzel is that healer that you kind of want, and the heals are just god tier. They're just god tier. Beyond that, Tia, still, again, yes, Crown kind of took her teammate, which is Naga, and yes, Crown does everything with Naga. Who needs Tia now? Tia's been replaced and thrown to the trash, but Tia is still a must-have character. Not every team will comprise of just, you know, Crown Naga. There's going to be teams where Tia and Naga have to still be together, so again, you still want that as a must-have, and I still stand by that. Till today, I think Summer Mary, for whatever she is, outstanding healer, by the way. But again, as time has progressed, people consider her more of a sort of great B1 now. So players are like kind of saying like, hey, maybe drop her and move her down because, again, as time has progressed, she kind of fell off. But what I will do is this. Instead of dropping her, what I think the best way to approach this entire tier list is to basically go and move up a new character being Volume. I think Volume has had a lot of time to like kind of prosper, and this is something that my comments also told me last time, like, we should probably move Volume up. She definitely deserves it. So instead of keeping, correct, the tier list as is, I think Mary still remains to be in a very good position here. I get it, after, you know, time and such, she's definitely kind of fallen off, so you kind of put her at the end of the list, but, you know, I wouldn't like drop her to Great B1 just yet. She still is really good for a lot of boss content and such, and again, her water heals and everything is still pretty good. She's still considered S tier on most tier lists. It's just, yes, after time and, you know, for a good amount of time now, she definitely has fallen. So you could definitely argue here for Great B1, or you can just argue the end of A tier, or sorry, must have. But again, given she's a summer character anyways, I'll kind of drop her a little bit, but she still can easily be put into both situations or categories, right? But a lot of players have been telling me to drop her constantly, and yeah, I'll drop her here today, I guess, just because, again, like, I could say keep her, but because also summer limited, I can just drop her for the reason of, again, you know, there's a lot of good P1 characters, and as time has progressed, she's sadly dropped. Like, mainly she's a Boston character, but, you know, I would say, yeah, you can keep her there. For now, we'll keep her there, okay? For Great B1 also, we'll get back to this, but we have to adjust must-have B1. We can't keep must-have B1 as it is right now, because there's a lot of new must-have B1 characters that have sort of popped up in the game. And who are those characters? I'll show you right now. Since the release of, again, since I released my last video, a few characters have been added in. One of those characters are D Killer Wife, and I will stand on this hill and die on this hill. D Killer Wife is, like, in my opinion, like, top 3, or yeah, I'd say top 3 B1s, bro. She's literally like goated as hell. I love using this character sometimes. Sadly, I don't have her on my main account. I had to use one of the you know, the homies accounts here to like test her as a character, and she's really good, bro. She provides so much to the team. She's considered double S in most categories. JP loves her more than anything. They consider her like triple S to a degree. She is just built different, so I definitely have to add that to the list here. Again, that's why I'm also going to consider dropping Mary, because you have a character like D Killer Wife now taking her position, and I moved up a character like Volume, who, by the way, for solo raid is a must-have, right? Her crit-based everything is just outstanding for solo raid, so you have to understand that yeah, I think it's a good time to do this, actually. I was saying, like, I'm not going to do it, but Summer Limited, D Killer Wife exists also, and that whatever Summer Mary is, still an outstanding healer, but she's right next to Pepper, both powerful and wonderful characters, but I think we have to be honest here, and now include her in this position, because that's what she is. You know what I mean? So for now, I think that must have B1 is definitely in a good area. I'm not missing any characters down here. Remember, Crown's B2. We'll get to that in a little bit. These three characters over here, we'll get to them in a little bit. But for B1, I think we're in a very good position here, and I think we're kind of good to go. I get it, Tove is good, Tove is great, but Tove requires so much building that I just don't want to kind of include that in here. Like, for example, Primitive is still required, right, to make like that whole thing work. But again, like, I can consider her great. It's just Tove is so heavy to build, it's not even funny. But we'll get to that and burn that bridge later. Must have B2, or sorry, after we'll go back to great B1. Great healer, great healer. She was like the must have, correct, for, again, what is it? What's that called? That content, tower, right? Tower. She's needed there, 100%, right? Because again, she's the only character in her category for the purpose of burst 120 seconds. But now with the release of a new character, correct, that being again D Killer Wife, she's been replaced. So again, she is still great. She is still a requirement for that content. But as time has progressed, you know, got D Killer Wife now, who's much much better. And then again, Sakura is still train carry. A lot of players have said, like, kind of move Sakura out of there. No, Sakura is still a great B1. I've used her on train, and she will help you. If you can't out DPS train, Sakura just helps so much. And I still consider her a great B1. But yeah, again, that's why I get it. Tove could definitely be a great B1, but she's only good in boss content. She's only good in boss content. Story and everything else is kind of crappy. And again, like, overall, Sakura works in most content, just to an overall degree. So I stand by that. Must have B2 though. Let's check this category. Blanc still remains, right? Naga still remains. Whatever happened, now Naga's above Blanc just because as time has progressed, she's gotten to be a much better character. Obviously, we have to move here and be very genuine and very honest. She has to move up here. She has to become a must-have B2. She is probably the best B2 in the game now. She is literally just a god-tier character. She's like #1 in the game. So we have to put that up there, and we can finally drop this crappy character out of here. We don't even have to consider her great anymore. The only real reason that my comments told me to keep her was for burst gen, which is, yeah, it's cool, burst gen's cool. But the only other reason was that she is a burst 2 character, a must-have for the content named Pilgrim Tower. But again, was she really a must-have Pilgrim Tower unit? or must have Pilgrim Unit? The answer is basically no. So again, we kind of don't need to keep her anymore. We kept her for that reason, and I do think that Nilister, for whatever she is, other than being a PvP character, I still wouldn't consider her a great B2 character, and I still think that you don't need her, honestly speaking. So I can definitely demote her now, because as time has progressed, you know, obviously that's where she stands. Also, now that as time has also progressed, a lot of people have told me to kind of demote a few other characters. So here today, we shall demote those characters. First up, we will start with a character named Rupee. A lot of players have been saying that, yeah, as time has progressed again, Rupee is not providing too many benefits, and there's so many other B2s that can kind of take her spot. She is still pretty good, right? She increases stat count buff by 1, critical rate goes up, mileage, attack goes up there. Attack goes up by that, affects all allies. She's still a good buffer, but I don't think that in the must-have, as we've added now, again, Crown, and I do kind of want to add somebody else, that being Rem. If you obtain Rem, I still think that she's kind of a must-have, more on like the right side here, but she is still a must-have for her support and damage capabilities. I still think she's a very good character, and most tier lists kind of place her at like S tier. So if she's on par with, again, most tier lists saying she's on par with like Anise, she's on par with like Snow White. If that's the case, you have to consider her a must-have. If I'm considering that of Snow White a must-have and that of Anise a must-have, if those things stand, then she has to stand in that same position, correct? Again, Guilty, whatever she is, has also seen a lot of change in sort of meta, right? She's definitely dropped as a character. Do I want to move her here? Should I? Let me think here. Guilty still for B2, she's pretty solid, bro. But I could see the argument to move her. Right, as time has also progressed, she's definitely gonna become a little bit more of a weaker character. Yeah, we can move her too. Correct, Marciana is still a wonderful healer, so I'll keep her. Other than that, I think I stand by this. Dude. Yeah, must have B2. Because again, there's so many characters being added in, I have to be very genuine here. And a B2 hero like Marciana has become very clutch, actually. So I definitely think that this is a pretty good area. Unironically, I would move up, like, for me, I would move up Helm. That's how much I like Helm, but, you know, given she's summer anyways, I'll put that as a letback or a setback. But she's S in everything. People consider her S in everything. So, done up to you. I think I'm going to check real quick. I think Prywin rates her at S everywhere, but other tier lists don't. So, Prywin kind of rates her high. JP doesn't rate her high, but rates her around like A tier to that, so a little bit less than S tier, but I still think she's a really good character. But again, I'm gonna keep with my must have B2s here, being these characters, which I still stand by, being very, very powerful and very, very good. So there's that. Any of the characters that got added in the game recently that I missed? No. I think we're good there, right? Leona. What was Leona? Leona. I wrote notes down for Leona. No, yeah, she's too heavy to build. No, yeah, so Leona's a fine character for, again, boss content, but she's so heavy to build. I don't know if it's worth it, right, for the B2 category. So I'm not going to claim her or put her in there because, again, it's a very heavy category. For great B2, Mast is still a great character, but, again, time has, like, kind of not been kind to her, and you've seen, like, 2B team kind of fall off a little bit here and there. I will still consider her at the end of great, but the same thing happens at 2B. She's still, like, at the end of great, but I think 2B is still classified as almost S to A, so I'll keep her there. But like Polly, would I keep Polly here theoretically? I'd probably also drop Polly, but for this, like, being good options, I think that these are some great options. But definitely, you know, kind of drop her also. Kind of drop her, kind of move Rupee here-ish. Yeah, just don't read this left to right. This is cursed left to right, but that's around what I think here. Correct? Time has done some numbers on these characters, dude. There's better, like, look at this. You'd rather have all these characters here and her compared to any of these here, just because, again, Biscuit's, like, good for a lot of comps, dude. She's, like, a cheese character for PvP and such. Obviously, this is not a PvP list. It's a PvE list. There's a lot of PvP characters that are powerful, but I definitely think that, yeah, I think this is good. We'll leave this at this, all right? B3 time, B3. Must have B3s. Hopefully I'm cooking here, because I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. B3, Modernia. Does that stand? Yes. Red Hood, does that stand? Hell yes. Scarlet, does that stand? Hell to the yeah. Yes, obviously she's gotten a little bit, like, less, but she's still a must-have, dude. Snow White, still in my opinion a must-have. Alice, if you're a new player, she's not really a must-have because it takes a lot of time to build her, but in my opinion, it's still a must-have. If you want to start somewhere, you got to start somewhere. So start early, get her there, and she'll be a monster for you by endgame. Sparkly Summer Niece, no. Scarlet's, what is it? The Black Shadow Scarlet, still a must-have. Anise, still a must-have. What is it? Ludmilla, still a must-have. Noir, still a must-have. Privity, I think Privity would still remain to be a must-have. A lot of players consider her super good, and I still do too. Maxwell, I still consider her a must-have too. So anybody I'm missing in this category? Let's do this. The only character that recently got added that's worth it, I'm not going to say Privity yet, we'll come back to that, is Emilia. I still think that for clearing out content with a B3 character, if you recently pulled for her, it's still a must-have, right? Plus, she's a PvP carry. This is a PvE tier list, but let me make that clear. She's triple S at PvP by everyone telling me that. I don't play PvP enough to know this, but everyone says so. If you also want to look at it, Jackal's a wonderful character too. She is triple S everywhere in PvP also. So just keep that in mind. Just making that clear, okay? But for this, I will include her in a must-have B3. But for great B3, again, what I'm going to do here for great B3, I'm going to drop her. Hear me out. What happens is Haran has kind of that entire thing here where there's so many better options for story early, you don't kind of need her anymore. She's free, so I can't leave her. I can't drop her. I get it, like they're on par. Snow White and Haran are on par, but she's free. She's literally for free. So, I'm going to leave her here for free. Sugar is still a great character to have. She does do pretty good. She's more Gravedigger oriented, right? And she does do good there. It's just, again, time has been cruel to some of these characters, but you could theoretically consider Privity a great character, but you need Privity's team. There are some teams that exist that Privity doesn't require big investments for, right? There are those things that exist for the character. It's just, again, keep this in mind, where the character stands right now is she requires a bit of building, and to use her and whatever, there's that. I wouldn't consider her a must-have, but I will consider her a great character to kind of own and have. That's where I stand on that. Again, it might be a little bit more of a controversial one. I'm ready to fight for this one, but I just think that where she stands in the game, her team and whatever, shotgun meta really hasn't gotten that push character, because again, a lot of her teams consist of a character like Anise. A lot of her teams consist of a character like Leona. A lot of her team consists of a character like, what is it? Tove. So again, that's the issue. That's the big issue with her, where she's a very expensive team. So I would even say she's not great at all because of how expensive her team is. And again, if I'm saying she's great, then I have to say her team is great. But because I'm not saying her team is great, it's all a hard opinion here to say. But what I will do is she's only great conditionally. If you're willing to get her team together, because she kind of requires that and she kind of wants that. But beyond that, E-Leg I didn't kind of include. E-Leg's not half bad, right? But I don't think that she's a must-have or a great B3 or a great character rather, right? Yes, design and everything is there, but yeah, I don't know. She's not, in my opinion, gonna be anywhere. She's a good B2 option, but we have a lot of B2 in there, dude. Do I stand by that? For example, I have Quincy in there, but I didn't put E-Leg in there. You could say it. You could definitely put her in the B2 category as a great B2. Honestly, you could. Like, again, I have characters here that are considered more mid, but, for this case, again, it's up to you. So, E-Leg is a newer character. For, again, example, I have Quincy here, who sometimes places a little bit lower. I have a character like Polly, who just overall is there. But E-Leg could be there. E-Leg could easily be considered a great character. So that's like one that I missed. If you would like to consider that, you definitely could. But beyond that, I think this list is almost close to perfect. Yeah, B1 over here, these are all must-haves in my opinion as time has progressed. Again, remember, she's just too freaking good. If you want a healer, she's still really good for the healer category. For Solar Raid, she is a must-have. For taunting and stuff on a lot of bosses and to kind of get you through stuff, that's a must-have. These are all great options, in my opinion. These 100%, I can't fail here. These are all must-haves. These all are literally must-haves. Again, if you don't have one, you go to the other. And in some Solar Raid content, some characters excel others. I would consider this here because just my biased opinion, but who knows. This stuff over here, I still stand by. I might drop some characters, right? Like put this off here, but they're still great options to have in. For this over here, I stand by this. Adding Emilia here is what I stand by. And then again, great options over here, I stand by that. So, yeah, hopefully it's a good tier list. I try my best here. If I fail, I will have the comments to yell at me for that. With that being said, I'll end the video here. If I were to do this like off wifey tier list, you know what I mean? But sadly, no. With that being said, take care. Have fun, everyone. Thanks for watching. Again, roast me in the comment section. Let me see. I need the feedback here. If I made a mistake on somebody, I definitely can clear up this B2 segment. That's definitely a thing I can clear up. There are characters that can definitely go. Again, characters have changed. Times have been changing. You could literally swipe out like this character, discount. You can make it happen, literally. That's how time has been. You know, that's how time has been. Time is cruel. Time is cruel. Take care. Have fun. That's been it.